Hi guys, so today I'm going to talk to you about my 2024 reading goals. Now I was actually debating whether or not I was going to make this video, and that's why it's kind of delayed, but I decided, you know what, yeah, let me go for it. I'm going to do it because it will inform the rest of the year basically, and I will keep referring to things and then I have to keep re-explaining myself, so at least if I say this then you guys will know what I'm talking about and what is leading my reading for the year. I'm actually hoping that this year I'll stick to it more than last year's, because last year's was like very idealistic, and then halfway through the year I was like, scrap that, like this is just like a monitoring year. We're gonna monitor and see, and then we'll come back to it at the end of the year, and then I can make proper goals. And I think that I have. Now I haven't finished creating all of my final statistics, so I don't have any like real stats data to inform this. However, we're just going to go off the vibes and what my thoughts are of the year. And so my first goal, these aren't ordered in any way, my first goal is that I want to diversify my romance reading. I have kind of hinted at this previously. Now romance is in my top 3 genres and has been for literally as long as I can remember, right? The other 2 have always changed and fluctuated, but romance has consistently been in my top 3. And I'd actually say that last year is the year where I read the least amount of romances, just anecdotally, just how I feel, right? I feel like I didn't read that much romances last year. I'm at that stage now where I want to pick back up my romance reading, right? Or at least, yeah, pick it up maybe. Like, I just want to continue my romance reading. And I think I was feeling very uninspired. So I want to change something up so I will then feel re-inspired by romances. And the second thing is I want to, as I said, diversify it. And I say that because I find that I tend to just read. I'm very lazy with my romance reads. I will just read whatever romance is easy for me to acquire, which obviously then tends to be like the cis white het authors and books. And I think the reason why I'm so lazy with my romance reads is because of the fact that, like, mysteries, I find mysteries, like, some genres have more representation than other genres, right? And I think that romance and increasingly so fantasy, they've got quite a bit of diversity, and contemporary and lit fic, like those to me are like the key genres that have like a lot of representation. But mysteries, I personally sometimes struggle to find that diversity within it, and so I think therefore I'm a lot more eager and I spend a lot more time like trying to hunt down diverse mysteries, and I take time and there's intention there. It's still not, you know, like 50-50 or anything like that, but mentally and like just in general I take a lot more care. And because I know diverse romances exist, I don't have any care, and that has led to me actually not reading them, which isn't good, because do you know what? Not only do I want to support these authors, but the publishing industry has to see that there are people out there who are reading these books. It's all well and good for, you know, me to be like, oh, they exist, it's fine, I don't need to. But no, I do need to show up. And also, I'm a dark-skinned woman in real life, right? And do you know what? Those are the books that are actually more likely going to represent me and my romances. Do you know what I mean? So like, no, let me match my real life to what I'm reading in fiction. Do you know what I mean? So that's another thing. So I say diversify because initially I was thinking about doing a blackout year, which is inspired by Capri's. I'm really sorry. Last time I got her bookish name wrong and she called me out. She said, girl, don't. If you don't know my name, keep it out your mouth. So this time, I'm going to make sure I get it right. Capri is a book island, right? She, a couple of years ago now, did a blackout reading year where it was like she was only reading books by Black authors. And that's when I found and discovered her channel, and I loved watching it. And so initially when I thought this, I was like, do you know what? I'll do that for my romance reads. However, then I started thinking and I was like, that's not actually technically exactly what I want, because there are lots of things. Like, I still want to read queer romances, and I still think it's really important to like champion queer romances and other people of colour, like not just Black romances. So then I was like, you know what, let's just make it more diverse, without putting the stipulation that it has to be Black. Will I be more conscious of picking up Black romances? Yes, but like if it fits any of those criteria, then that works for me. Like, I'm not gonna, do you know what I mean? I still want to read those books. I haven't said a diverse only romance year because of the fact that I am also still trying to read down my shelves. Sorry. And so that's the only caveat that I'm going to have. Like, it has to be completely diverse unless I already own it. So if I own it, I can read it. But if I don't own it, then you're not getting the cut. Like, I've already, it's what, the 4th of January, and I've already had to like decline some of the holds that have come into me from the library because I'm like, oh sorry, you don't fit the criteria anymore. And this is what I mean about easy to access romances. They were from my library, right? And my library, those are the books that my library had acquired. So I am kind of still arguing about whether I'm going to include the books that I already own on my Kindle. I'm tending towards no. Because there's just so many like Black Kindle Unlimited reads that I'm tending towards no. But if I do, then that's fine, because I've left it kind of open for that, because it is still owned. I still own it. I still own the Kindle edition. And I'm not talking about Kindle Unlimited books. I'm talking about books that I actually physically own on my Kindle. So to me, I'm kind of like, you own it. You want to read down your Kindle books as well. So you might as well just allow yourself if you're allowing your own books. But I'm not trying to get too loosey-goosey on this. So that's why I'm back and forth in. So basically, at the end of the year, though, all I'm going to say is, my diverse reads needs to at least be minimum 80%. 80% diverse reads. Minimum 80%. But I'm actually trying to reach 90%. That's what I'm actually trying to say, minimum, in my head. But depending on whether I allow my Kindle reads, then we'll drop it down to 80. So I got to be monitoring that. So my next 2 goals feed into my original goal. Like, in my explanation, you'll see why they're my goals. So my second one, technically, is read more ebooks, right? I've been doing stuff like Kindle Day, the romance one and the mystery one, and I've just been buy all these free books. And just in general, like, when there's deals on Kindle and stuff like that, I'll buy them, I'll get them, and then they'll just sit there. They'll just sit there, and I won't do anything with them. And that is a motivation, yes, and that's to kick up the bum. But the real reason why I want to address it is because of the fact that I used to be such a heavy ebook reader. Like, it's not even a joke. Like, that used to be the way that I am now with audiobooks is how I used to be with ebooks, right? Like, pretty much exclusively, right? Like, minimum 70% of the time I was reading ebooks, right? I'm actually talking more like 80+ percentage I was reading ebooks. So for that to drop so significantly to like almost hardly ever reading ebooks alone, to a point where I'm like, oh, I only have the ebook, I need the audiobook accompaniment, is crazy to me. That's absolutely crazy. And I really enjoyed that era of my life. Like, I really enjoyed just reading on an ebook. So I want to get back to that. And I know it's kind of like nostalgia in your head, like, oh my god, do you actually? But I actually do, because of the fact that it's stopping me from reading a lot of good books. And that is another thing that has kicked me up the bum. Recently, I've been trying to pick up quite a few books that are like good in terms of just for personal development and just good books, right? And a lot of them are like Black history books. So for example, a lot of the ones that I was looking at were like the history of the Black soldiers in World War One or World War Two. I think it's called The Black Poppies by Stephen Bourne. Maybe that was just off my dome, I'm not 100% sure. But, or like the Staying in Power in Black Britain, and other books, like other just Black British books. And a lot of them were ebook. There was no audiobook. And that made me upset, because I was like, you therefore is closing off this important history to a lot of people, a lot of readers like myself. So I was like, that needs to change. That needs to change. But also, you need to change. It's a bit of both. Like, that needs to change. There needs to be more accessible audiobooks for these pivotal Black British works. But also, you need to read ebooks, and so that at least you have that knowledge. Overall, that's led to this goal. Lastly, I put this on here because it's like, well, lastly of the ones that I included on my Instagram post, there's actually more that I'm going to talk to you guys on YouTube about. But the last of my Instagram was like, read down my TBR. And this is just like a backwards goal. I'm actually not even truly concerned. Like, there were times in my life I was like, oh, I'm going to read to 0. I'm going to do this. Lies. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Because I actually have discovered that I like owning all of these books. Even if I haven't read them, I like owning all of these books. And you know what? I'm just not a physical reader. And I really just have never really been that much of a physical reader. So it's okay for me to just take my time and read them in the space I'm going to read them. I need to actively like make steps into reading it. Like, I'm not just going to sit back and let it grow with no management. But like, I'm not going to force myself. Especially when I'm a mood reader, there's no point trying to force myself to adhere to like reading to 0. That doesn't make no sense. And I never actually wanted to get to 0. So why did I say I was reading to 0? riddle me that. So yeah, I'm just gonna, so this is very open, this is very loosey-goosey, like whatever happens, as long as I'm reading at least 12 books. She's all right with that, right? I say at least 12. I made up that number on the spot. I don't even have that real number on my goals. I think it's more 10 I've got as like physical books, so whatever. And then another goal that I have is to read more historical fiction, and this is particularly from modern history, so from the 50s onwards. And that is tied because I'm going to be doing an annual challenge of like a decades reading challenge, where I'm going to read from all of those eras from the 50s on to now, and it's actually going to be a lifestyle challenge that I'm doing in 2024, and I'll talk to you more about that when I get to it. But yes, I'm very excited for it, and it is just like a mental note to myself, like, don't forget you are reading these books. Like, I really want to read these books. However, I've just said more historical fiction because it's more of a lifestyle challenge for me. I don't really want to force myself to rush into reading all of these books when I'm not ready. I'm going to take my time, idealistically a month at a time for each decade. But like, if it gets to the end of the month and I'm still reading a book, or I don't feel like I've learned enough and I want to delve in deeper into maybe a specific topic that I've discovered, or etc, 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 I want to give myself time to do that. So I've just left it more broadly at historical fiction. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are the key things. And Leanne from Literary Diversions, she does this bingo board from hell kind of thing, where like every month you kind of cross off the bingo boards, but the bingo boards are your goals. I'm really sorry, that wasn't greatly explained, but that's basically what it is. And so I've been inspired because I love watching her do this, like every month or whenever she does the updates. But anytime she does an update, I'm always there. I'm always like click 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 click. I watch all her videos anyway, so I don't know why I said it like those are the only videos of hers that I watch. But either way, my point being, when she does it, I do enjoy watching it. So I created my own version because this year she's provided templates for you to create your own version. And so I have done, which basically just inputs all of the things that I've said. So every time I read 10 diverse romances, I'm going to give myself a prize. Every time. So like you could fill out these boxes multiple times if you want to. I've got 10 historical fictions, again, for my thing. But I said 10 historical fictions. That's across the whole year. Do you know what I mean? So it's fine. I'm not trying to put historical mysteries that aren't directly in that time period in here, though. I'm being very specific about it. And then we've got 10 non-fiction, just because I like reading non-fiction and I just want to encourage myself, like, you know, just keep on top of it, babe. Like, but there's no real measure. Like, this isn't really a goal. This is just like a maintenance. So I've broken it down into the first column was, you know, the genres of the books. The middle column is like, take it easy, girl. But these are just things that you want to, like, you know, keep your eye on, maybe. Like, they're just more outside of the specific books you're reading. So the first one, we have TBR card reads. Jacqueline gifted me her TBR cards game in order for me to like be an ambassador. And so I want to continue to use them and utilize them and show them on this channel. And I would like to read them. So that's what that's there for, in order to encourage that. Then I've got a reset / wrap up. I started doing a reset in December. I really enjoyed it. I want to continue doing that. And I also want to start doing wrap ups. And so this box is to encourage me to do that. And then lastly, recommended read. It's just a way for me to track like who's my bookish twin and like know whose recommendations are good for me. And then the last column is the format. So we've got the 10 ebooks, like I've already spoken about. We've got 10 physical books. That is linked to reading down my shelf and reading my own TBR. However, I also would like to read more from the library, and I do want to just read physically as well. So I didn't just say read like your own books. I left that open and more broadly, because if I said read 10 books from your shelves, then there's definitely no way that I'm going to read 10 additional physical books from like the library. That's not happening. I know my limitations as a physical reader. And then we've got 10 graphic novels, because I thought, to be honest, I was running out of things. But I also thought, why not? Like, I do want to get into graphic novels and manga more. So that actually should have been a slash manga / comics. But you know what? It fits. And yeah, so that's all of that. Now, YouTube goals. I did say last year, like, I was finding myself on YouTube. I think this year I want to, instead of find myself, I want to find a theme that, like, is consistent. I want to be more consistent in my branding this year. Last year I was very intentionally like just changing things up every time, like whenever I wanted to find what I liked most. Still haven't found exactly what I liked most, but I think the next step for me this year is to be consistent across videos, and then if I make any changes, I can like tweak it slightly after it's already consistent. Like you can click on my channel and you're gonna get like, it's all gonna look in keeping. In terms of like goals, I really want to make more bookish friends. I'm sorry guys, I do like, I want to reach out to like more creators and like get chatting to them more and just like building more relationships, because like I find it like really heartwarming when the people who are like fellow booktubers who consistently stay on my account and I consistently stay on theirs, that warms my heart. And I would love to have more of those people who we just like, we engage with each other, that's the word. But also like to develop that into past just engaging with people, into developing deeper friendships with people from Booktube as well. So I want more engagement, like people that we just vibes in together. I really enjoy that. That really, really warms my heart. But then I also want to develop that into bookish friends as well. And then lastly, in terms of like subscriber goal, I'm loosey-goosey again, because as I said, I'm a working girly, I'm a studying girly, so like really and truthfully, this is not my top priority in life. It really isn't, unfortunately. So I don't want to necessarily then try and put this goal on me when it's not your priority. Like you can't even dedicate all your time to it. So dedicate, do you know what I mean? So it's like, why are you putting a number on this goal when you're not even really going to give it your full force and attention? However, it would be nice for me to reach 1,000 subscribers, maybe. Is that a lot? That's a lot to me. That's a lot to me. Because I'm not even at 500 yet. Really, truthfully, I want to reach 500 bad. I want to reach 500 subscribers very badly. 1,000 is just like, I don't know. It just feels like a good number to say. And it would be nice. It would be nice. I would be happy. And so that's that. Those are my 2024 goals for the year. And so hopefully this will help you when I'm talking about things and I'm like, oh yeah, I read this black romance. In the back of your head, you're like, well done, girl. Well done, girl. You're doing it. You're doing the damn thing. When I'm like, oh yeah, I finished this book from my shelf. You're like, oh my God, girl. Look at you go. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you. Aren't you so proud of me? But you can't be proud of me if you didn't know. So now you can be proud of me. Or you can be like, side-eye shade. Side-eye shade. Who's that author? Who's that author of that romance you're reading? That wasn't on your shelves. Explain yourself, sis. So I want to say keep me accountable, but at the same time, when inevitably I don't do one of these things, I will be like, excuse me guys, don't tell me nothing. I will be like, I know. But yeah, anyway. Just thought I'd share. And I will see you when I see you. Bye, guys.